Once again, I am back with another video. Welcome, everybody. I don't know why it looks so blurred like that. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know. Let me know if y'all think it looks a little blurred. Like it looks, I don't know, it looks weird. But I will fix that next time, y'all. We had a little complications at the last video, but it's okay. It's okay. We still watched it. Um, very, very deep. Very, very deep. Ooh. I don't know how people could do this to kids. I don't know how people could do this to their family. I just don't get it. I really don't. I didn't know about that last case. Um, so shout out for the person that did bring it to me. I do appreciate that very, very much. Oh, what's going on here? I do appreciate that. Um, so boom. We're getting into a case that I kind of do know about, right? The Chris Watts case. I've heard about this case before. But the only thing that I heard was his wife went missing. So really, I don't really know much about this case. And that makes it even more interesting to me not to know much about it because we get to see it together. Hello, Anita Alexandra. How are you doing, lady? How are you doing, pretty lady? Blessings to you too, Queen. Mwah. I'm always glad to see you. um, so this case right here is, oh my God. Okay, so let me just tell y'all. Hold on. This happened in 2018. Okay. August 13th, 2018. Frederick, Colorado. The wonderful, amazing father, a loving father, a loving husband. His wife looked at him like he was her hero, like he was her king. His kids loved him to pieces. Everybody thought that this was the perfect family, the perfect Colorado family. But there was a dark side. There was a very, very dark side. There was some dark secrets, hidden dark secrets that his wife didn't know. His kids were brought into this. He had a nasty, dark, dark world that no one knew about except for one person, and maybe two besides him and God, of course, but someone else. And I'm not even sure if she knew about how dark he could get, but she knew he had secrets because she was one of them. But did she know that he could be a monster? Yeah, we're looking at the Chris Watts documentary. This man unalived his wife and his children. And I believe she was pregnant, if I'm not mistaken. Another man that cannot take stress, responsibility. Another man that can't just walk out and get a divorce. But he has to drag his family and unalive them. This is disgusting. I'm going to get straight into the documentary. I just saw a person that's showing the documentary, and we're going to watch it together. So hit that thumbs up, share this video. I'm going to share her information in the comments. Because there was many documentaries on this case, many. But there was one that I seen for 2 seconds and I was like, okay, we're gonna watch this one. Okay. Uh did I plan am I anyway, let's get to the video. This case isn't any better than the last. I know, girl. Ugh.
My friend, a mutual friend of mine, sent me a friend request about 8 months prior for Chris, my husband, and I deleted it. I had no interest in dating anyone. I wasn't looking for a boyfriend. I was working. I was goal-oriented. I was a dreamer. I have always been a dreamer. I've always wanted everything in life to be perfect. So anyway, fast forward, in a dark place, all of a sudden I get a friend request from Chris. I said, what the heck? I'll never meet him. He's just a Facebook friend. I have a million of them. Nothing's going to come of it. Well, 2 weeks later, we finally meet on a blind date and ended up falling in love with him. And I believe things happen for a reason. Things are placed in our life to bring us to the next stage of our life, good and bad. We just have to take all of it with us. And I choose every day to wake up. I choose to put my makeup on. I choose to put a smile on my face because I am conquering my life, and nothing else is going to take my life away from me.
Thank you for the movie. Thank you for the first I see. Thank you, God, for everything.
Hey, let's go get lunch. What's wrong?
Man, it's tax season and I don't know what to do.
Please pay attention to the following notice to ensure your viewing experience remains coherent. All case details provided in this documentary have been taken from the 2,000-page redacted case file pertaining to the investigation of Christopher Lee Watts, released to the public on November 21, 2018 by the Weld County District Attorney's Office. In addition, we have also used other reputable media sources that have reported accurate information in regards to the case, of which can be and have been cross-referenced with the officially released case documents. Due to the wide coverage this story received, vast amounts of case information has been made public. After carefully reviewing all the available information, we have attempted to compress and produce the most robust documentation of the case as is possible. We have done our best to provide you with the most accurate timeline of events, whilst incorporating as much relevant information as possible. Running concurrent with the main story detailing the case, you will be shown periodic screenshots of personal phone records and internet data, which were obtained by authorities to assist them in their investigation. When these screenshots are displayed, we will provide you with a short summary of their content. However, please do pause the video and read them if necessary, as their content will allow you greater insight and perspective, as well as a glimpse into the private affairs of those involved. Lastly, before we proceed, we want to pay our deepest respects to the victims of this horrific crime, as well as our condolences to the mourning family and friends for their loss. May Shanann, Bella and Celeste Watts rest in peace.
That's what made me choose this documentary.
My daddy is a hero. He helps me grow up strong.
In 2009, Shanann Catherine Ruzek and Christopher Lee Watts met in North Carolina after being introduced to each other by a mutual friend through Facebook. At the time, Shanann, who suffered from the autoimmune disease lupus, was struggling to control the symptoms of her disease and had been recovering from a recent divorce. This left her reluctant to pursue any other potential relationship so soon, but she ultimately decided to meet Christopher, and a relationship would eventually blossom between the couple. By 2011, Chris had proposed to Shanann, and the two were married on November 3, 2012. In 2013, the pair left North Carolina, where both their families resided, and relocated to Frederick, Colorado, where they initially stayed with their friends whilst their new residence was being built. By May of 2013, they had finally moved into their $400,000 suburban home, 2825 Saratoga Trail. Later that same year, on December 17th, Shanann gave birth to their first child, Bella Marie Watts, with the assistance of fertility medication. This was due to Shanann's lupus disease, as prior to their attempts, doctors warned Shanann that she may be unable to conceive naturally. By all accounts, Shanann and Chris were wonderful parents and worked hard to ensure their family would continue to flourish. Shanann had built a career in sales and was very efficient in her role, while Chris, a NASCAR college graduate, was a highly skilled mechanic. During this period, both Shanann and Chris worked at a Ford dealership located in Longmont, Colorado. That was until January 2015, when Chris landed a new job as a field coordinator at Anadarko Petroleum. Shanann had since too left her position at Ford and now worked in a call centre within a children's hospital. Within the same year, on July 17th, Shanann gave birth to their second baby girl, Celeste Catherine Watts, again with the help of fertility medication. Celeste was born with a narrow esophagus, which required multiple procedures to correct. In addition, both children would eventually be diagnosed with asthma, following years of misdiagnosis from doctors, resulting in years of incurred medical bills.
Two things I want to say. The first thing is she met him on Facebook. They were Facebook friends. Ugh, okay. The second one is medical bills. They had already a lot of bills. The babies had asthma. That already started to add up to, okay, we got a lot of bills going on now. Medical bills are, bills are expensive. Medical bills are expensive.
As a couple, Shanann and Chris's combined yearly income amounted to approximately $90,000, and they soon began to experience financial troubles. With a growing family, a mortgage amounting to $2,700 a month, years of accumulated medical expenses, and ever-increasing credit card debts, they felt they were beginning to lose control of their finances. To add to their money issues, Shanann soon required neck surgery, which amounted to an additional $25,000 in medical costs. The pair would consequently file for bankruptcy in 2015, claiming liabilities that totaled to a reported $448,820. By 2016, Shanann had left her position at the Children's Hospital, opting instead to work from home in direct sales. She became a brand promoter for the multi-level marketing company Lavelle, where her skills in sales saw her quickly climb the ranks and become a rising star within the company. Internet records show that Nicole Kessinger, a fellow co-worker of Chris Watts at Anadarko Petroleum, searched the internet for the name Shanann Watts for the first recorded time on September 1st, 2017.
I think I met him sometime in June, probably early June. It might have been May.
Did he mention the children's name or his significant other's name?
I didn't know his significant other's name for a while.
Oh shit.
敵巡洋艦撃沈
Shanann Watts and her 2 daughters vanished on Monday.
By early 2018, Shanann had built a stellar reputation for her sales performance at Lavelle and was now earning $65,000 to $70,000 a year. In May of the same year, her ever-growing accolades had earned her a feature in the company's in-house magazine, and the whole family would enjoy the perks of Shanann's newfound career success. She was regularly sent on paid trips both statewide and abroad, where Chris, Bella and Celeste would regularly accompany her on her travels. Shanann's exceeding sales targets had even earned her a brand new Lexus 2016 RX, paid for her by her employer, which she was purchasing through the company's car allowance scheme. It seemed as though the couple's financial struggles were slowly becoming a thing of the past. Later that month, Shanann's good luck continued as she discovered that she had fell pregnant for the 3rd time, this time without the use of fertility drugs. Filming her husband's reaction via a Facebook video, she revealed the news to his shock and amazement.
We did it again. I like that shirt. Really?
Really?
That's awesome. So pink means...
That's just the test.
I know. It just says the pink is going to be girls.
I don't know. Just the test.
That's awesome. Guess when you want to, it happens.
In June, Shanann's employer organised a 5-day trip to San Diego for her to attend a convention. Flying out on June 22nd, she took her husband along, also treating the trip as a celebratory occasion. An excited Shanann also planned to have a gender reveal party, scheduled for August 19th, following her 15-week scan, due to take place on August 8th. Upon their return from San Diego on June 27th, Shanann, Bella and Celeste flew out the same day en route to North Carolina, embarking on a 6-week vacation to visit family on both sides. Chris stayed behind in Frederick, Colorado due to work commitments, but planned to join them on the final week of the vacation. Chris searches the internet for information on tickets to Vandermeer Speedway. Within weeks of their vacation, however, Shanann noticed a sudden change in her husband's demeanour. His communications with her gradually became delayed in response, and he began to offer excuses for his sudden lack of communication. As the vacation continued, Chris's sudden change in demeanour became more prominent. On July 7th, Nicole Kessinger, Chris's co-worker, calls Chris Watts at 12:09 a.m, holding a 2-minute conversation. This is the first recorded call logged between the two. Later that evening, Chris's phone connects to various internet routers located within multiple restaurant locations. The following morning on July 8th, Chris offers excuses to Shanann for not responding to her the night before. Later that same day, beginning to grow suspicious, Shanann responds. On July 14th, Chris Watts and Kessinger visit a museum together. With his wife, Shanann's calls are ignored for the majority of the day, whilst Chris prioritised communications with his co-worker, both in person and over the phone. Confiding in friends, Shanann claims that Chris had suddenly become distant and unaffectionate. In contrast, however, he would also send periodic messages of affection, leaving Shanann puzzled. Chris soon revealed that his feelings had changed towards her, their marriage and even their unborn child. Shanann became...
I wanted to go back and read the messages for y'all, but it's all right. I mean...
increasingly worried about the future of their marriage. On July 17th, Shanann was sure to FaceTime Chris during Celeste's 3rd birthday party to lift his spirits. She even suggested that they both consider marriage counselling in order to salvage their relationship, but Chris refused such intervention, leaving Shanann feeling helpless and confused.
Why do men do that shit? Wait till she's pregnant, right? Pretty much far along. She's already a few months into the pregnancy because in the beginning it was all good. You know, he seemed okay with it. And then later down the road, when she gets far a little bit into her pregnancy, there's a freaking problem. Not answering calls, being distant. Come on now. She know what's up.
On July 18th, a day after his daughter's 3rd birthday, it is apparent through Chris's phone activity that he and Miss Kessinger's relationship had now progressed into an affair. Chris transfers a large number of images from his phone gallery into a secret calculator application on his phone.
Wow.
Watts also uses Google to search for vacation rentals.
Mm.
Days later, on July 20th, Chris continues to transfer images into his secret app. The following day, he and his mistress go out for the evening to Bandimere Speedway and the Rooftop Tavern in Morrison. On July 22nd, Chris searches for what we can assume are potential activities that he and Miss Kessinger can partake in. This search performed by Miss Kessinger on July 24th would suggest that she is fully aware of the position both herself and her lover Chris Watts are in. That same evening, Shanann sends her husband a message, clearly frustrated and confused by Chris's son.
She says, I realized this trip was messing in our relationship. It's only one day emotions and feelings. I can't come back like this. I need you to meet me halfway. You don't consider others at all.
And lack of concern.
Not think about others' feelings.
On July 25th, following a short conversation with his wife, Chris spends almost 3.5 hours searching the internet on the topics related to when to say I love you.
Oh my God.
That same day, Chris holds a 23-minute conversation with Shanann and receives a voicemail from his mistress during the call. After the call ended, he promptly calls Miss Kessinger back for a short conversation.
And it says, she told Watts, I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back. Bye. After ending his call with Shannon, Watts called Gizzard briefly. Watts searched for Google's and Dunn's and the weather. She'll say
Checking
that
the
though.
weather at sand dunes, he then calls her back. The following day, on July 26th, whilst on an 18-minute call with his wife, Chris simultaneously transfers nude images of Nicole Kessinger into his secret app.
Once again.
On July 28th, Chris Watts and Kessinger spend the night together at the Great Sand Dunes. Chris's July 30th web activity suggests that he is in a highly emotional state following his recent getaway with his mistress, Miss Kessinger. On July 30th,
he even made a song for her. You gotta be freaking kidding me. Come on
31st,
now.
before his flight to North Carolina, Chris transfers a number of images and videos into his secret mobile app. After being away from his family for 5 weeks, Chris flew to North Carolina, initially in high spirits to finally be with his family. This rare show of affection may be due to a mix of emotions caused by both his recent extramarital activities and excitement to see his children after 5 weeks of separation. Chris's affection continues as his mood remains lifted. It was later noted that following Chris's initial excitement upon his arrival, he then became quiet, distant and disinterested as the week progressed. On both the 2nd and 3rd of August, Chris transfers images, which have since been identified as nude images of Miss Kessinger, into his secret app. Amongst the images was a picture of a necklace, presumably a potential gift for his mistress. On August 4th, Nicole Kessinger searches Google for wedding dresses. She also searched for the Facebook accounts of both Shanann and Chris.
This game, you're not ready for.
As the week continued, Shanann grew increasingly frustrated and
So wait a minute. She was trying to marry this dude. He's married, and they trying to plan a wedding on the side. I would have arrested her ass too. I would have charged her too.
suspicious of Chris's ongoing attitude towards their marriage.
North Carolina.
Go back to
So North Carolina. So he still made very frequent communication with me when he was out there, and at one point he told me that they sat down and they talked about it, and he told her that he wanted to either fix things or like to try to fix things, and if she didn't want to fix them, then they needed to like move forward with the separation and like actually file for a divorce at this point was the impression that I got from this, and was what he told me. And so
Fix what?
he said that she was like pretty receptive to just not trying. He was like, she seemed like she just wants me to go. He's like, when she has her mind made up, she has her mind made up, and that's what she wants. And he's like, she doesn't want to try anymore. And he's like, and neither do I really. And he was like, it's done.
By August 6th, Shanann is now highly suspicious of her husband's demeanour. On August 7th, the day they were all due to fly back home to Colorado, Shanann confided in her friend Addie that Chris wasn't himself. Via text message, she stated, quote, "Chris told me last night he's scared to death about this third baby, and he's happy with just Bella and Celeste and doesn't want another baby." She said, "He has changed. I don't know who he is." And that he hasn't touched me all week, kissed me, talked to me, except for when I'm trying to figure out what is wrong. The following day, on August 8th, in the hours before her 15-week scan appointment, scheduled for 7 p.m. that evening, Shanann contacted close friends in order to inform them that she would be cancelling the planned gender reveal party. Shanann's friend Taylor contacted her for clarification of this sudden change of heart. In response, Shanann replied, "Chris said we are not compatible anymore. He refused to hug me, said he thought another baby would fix his feelings, said he refused couples counselling." Chris's responses to friends regarding his unborn child would suggest he was excited about the ultrasound, a far cry from what Shanann had been alleging to her close friends. Kessinger's web history is highly suggestive. Shanann's scan revealed that she was pregnant with a baby boy. She revealed to a chosen few friends that his name would be Nico Lee Watts. Upon her return home that evening, Shanann and Chris had gotten into a marital discussion that ended with reconciliation. This can be gathered by Shanann's phone activity, initially portraying emotional defiance being faced with the prospect of becoming a single mother, which is then contrasted by her Google search on the topic of couples therapy. Shanann's now optimistic tone regarding her relationship can be seen in her messages to friends the following day. On August 9th, Shanann flew out on a business trip to Arizona with close friend Nicole Atkinson, whilst Chris took care of Bella and Celeste at home. Shanann was in good spirits following her and Chris's recently improved communications, which can be seen in her now hopeful messages to friends. Shanann even wrote her husband a letter expressing her emotions in hopes of prompting a response from him. Chris then sent Shanann a somewhat puzzling and disturbing photo message, which notably left her confused. Later that day, Chris continues to transfer semi-nude images sent by Nicole Kessinger. Ignoring his previously baffling picture message, Shanann's optimism continued on to the next morning on Friday, August 10th, where she sends a loving morning message to Chris and her daughters whilst en route to Arizona. Please pause if you care to read this message in its entirety. Later that morning, Chris messaged friend Jeremy Lindstrom to ask if his daughter was available to babysit Bella and Celeste the following evening on August 11th. He claimed he had won tickets to a Rockies game taking place and wished to attend. His daughter was happy to oblige. August 11th. Kessinger spends 45 minutes searching the internet on topics related to anal sex. This progressed into watching pornographic videos. It is noted by investigators that this type of internet activity was not a new occurrence in regards to Miss Kessinger's private browser history.
Did he ever mention a Rockies game that night?
No, I don't think so. But the Broncos were playing.
Okay.
So he had to get a babysitter that night. He came to my house. We drove my truck.
So you guys take your 4Runner to the Lazy Dog.
Yep. And then we left. So Saturday, yes, we went out. He had the babysitter. He went home.
Waking up on August 12th, the morning of the day she was due to return home, Shanann sends another loving message to her husband.
She was due to
Missing her
return home.
daughters greatly, she asks Chris to send her photos of them both. These two pictures would be the last known images of Bella and Celeste alive. Later that day, Chris volunteers through co-workers to check a particular work site the following morning. In addition to other sites he was scheduled to attend to, Nicole Atkinson would later state that Shanann had been feeling very poorly during the trip, and she had made an appointment at the women's clinic back home, scheduled for 10 a.m. on August 13th. Shanann and Nicole were due to land back in Denver at 11 p.m. that evening on August 12th, but due to a flight delay, the pair landed at Denver International Airport in the early hours of August 13th. Nicole then drove Shanann to her residence, where she entered her home at 1:48 a.m. This would be the last time Nicole saw her friend alive.
Why is filing your
Lord
taxes
have
with
mercy,
Tax USA different?
Jesus God.
Well,
My
for
stomach.
starters,
Yeah.
our premium.
When I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. Like, she wasn't
Really,
here.
it was a ghost
Kids
town.
weren't here.
Let's
I have
see.
no idea like where they went.
At approximately 5:30 a.m. on the morning of August 13th, Christopher Watts entered his truck and left for work, leaving his wife and daughters in bed asleep.
Yeah.
At 8:25 a.m., Chris stages a call to Shanann's phone. He then accesses the internet to search for the contact information for the school of which his daughters attend. He then calls the school, where he informs them that his girls would no longer be in attendance. Moments later, he calls the estate agents. At 10:10 a.m., Chris searches the internet for the lyrics to the song Battery by Metallica. Later that morning, friend Nicole attempted to call and text Shanann's mobile in order to check up on her, aware that she had a scheduled doctor's appointment early that morning. But her attempts were met with no response. Thinking it highly unusual and out of character of her friend given to circumstances, Nicole, accompanied by her son Nicholas, drove to Shanann's residence. Arriving at the Watts home at approximately 12:10 p.m. that afternoon, Nicole knocked on the door and called out for Shanann multiple times, but was met with no response. She then makes her way to the garage doors of the home in order to establish if her friend's white Lexus was still parked inside. She saw that Shanann's vehicle was still parked in the garage and noted that the children's car seats were still affixed. Becoming increasingly worried, Nicole then returns back to the front door. The Watts home required a passcode to gain entry, and with prior knowledge of the entry code, Nicole successfully opens the front door at 12:17 p.m. However, the door only opens a few inches due to a security latch, of which can only be accessed from inside the residence. The security system installed at the Watts was linked to their mobile phones, notifying them if any doors were open without their knowledge. Upon receiving a notification,
Yo, this dude just pissed me off, first of all, but he like set everything up. And I'm just sitting here wondering, what about the girl? What about his girlfriend? Does she get to walk? Because I don't know. Did they charge her? Because she knew this man was married, right? She poked the bear. She poked the bear. Instead of leaving and saying, listen, I'm not going to be involved with this shit. You still married. First of all, I don't mess with married men, period. But she poked the bear looking for wedding dresses. Just doing little things. I love you. I miss you. I'm going on vacation. You poked the bear. Bitch, now poke your behind up in prison too. Because he took his children out. I mean, this is insane, man.
Following her entry, Chris immediately called Nicole at 12:18 p.m. She alerted him of the situation and urged him to return home immediately. In response, Chris tells her that Shanann was on a play date, but Nicole was highly skeptical due to Shanann's unusual lack of communication. Once off the phone, Nicole and her son remained at the residence, continuing their attempts at contacting Shanann. Nicole was now frantically contacting friends and family. In hopes of alerting any occupants inside the house, the home security system was purposely triggered at 12:27 p.m. Receiving another notification on his phone,
Hey,
Chris
Kathy
called
B.
Nicole
This case is
immediately
pissing
and
me off,
instructed
girl.
her and her son to leave the property, asking them to not call the police or kick the door in. Nicole then drove to Shanann's health clinic, where they
The other
established
case
that
was
she
something,
hadn't
but
shown
this
up to
case
her
too is
10
just
a.m.
like,
appointment that morning. Nicole and Nicholas then rushed back to Shanann's residence, where they again attempted to make contact at 12:41 p.m, with no success. Notified again of her presence, Chris called Nicole, where he informed her that he was making his way back home, but was still an hour away. Following an agonising wait for Chris to show up, and still with no sign of his arrival, Nicole called him again at 1:31 p.m. At 1:40 p.m, Nicole then decided to contact the police in order to request that a welfare check can be carried out immediately.
that's
The
right,
first
girl.
responding officer, Officer Scott Coonrod of the Frederick Police Department, arrived at the residence at approximately 1:50 p.m.
That's right, girl.
Nicole? Yes. Okay. What's going on?
With Nicole's assistance, they successfully opened the front door, but as it did prior, the door only opened a few inches. The officer then proceeds to announce his presence into the home, in hopes of prompting a response from any occupants inside, but he was met with silence. He noted that all doors and windows were closed and locked, leaving no way in. The officer then notices that the home's garage doors had a security system which required an access code to open. Nicole then tells the officer that she had already contacted Chris multiple times, but feared he wasn't coming due to his lack of urgency and not arriving on the multiple times he said he would arrive.
Military-grade fire lighters
Yo,
are flying
this is
off
some crazy
shelves,
shit,
and
man.
here's why. Watch how this lighter lights anything in seconds. This new revolutionary lighter is unlike anything you've...
Do you mind calling him and seeing if we can get a passcode to this and get me permission to go in?
She calls Chris again at 1:59 p.m. to request...
Yo, if it wasn't for the friend, I'm telling you, man, I don't even think any of this would have been exposed. Because he think he's a slick one with hiding shit and doing things. You know what I mean? He was already creeping behind his wife back and doing vacations and wedding dresses and stuff like that. Yeah, this case is terrible. It's just pissing me off as hell. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at it and I'm like, oh my gosh. I would lock the girlfriend up too. Straight like that. She could pick her wedding dresses up in prison. But thank God that the wife had a good friend. That's what I'm talking about. Friendship, real friendship, loyalty. Good friend. The friend knew something ain't right. Why is her car still here? Something ain't right. Knowing he's a creep. Where's the kids? Something ain't right. Go ahead, girl. That's right, girl. She wasn't staying quiet. She wasn't the one of those that stay quiet. You know, we get all those cases, right, that they don't want to say nothing. Don't say nothing. Nah, she wasn't that type. This case got me in my
the garage
feelings.
door's passcode, but Chris tells her the doors are not in working order and can only be opened from the inside. Minutes later, Officer Coonrod calls Chris back for clarification, where Chris tells the officer that the security system wasn't in working order, but that he was 5 minutes out and on his way
I want to curse so
immediately.
much.
Hey, Chris, Officer
I
Coonrod for the
just
police
want to
department.
curse him out so much,
do you have
y'all.
any idea where your wife is? Okay. Right. What my concern is, her car's here. They're saying she is diabetic. I don't want her. If she's upstairs and can't respond. Okay. About how far out are you? Okay. All right.
Minutes later, as the officer was preparing to breach the front door, Chris's truck arrived on the driveway. Using his garage door opener to gain access to the home, Chris then gave consent for the entire home to be searched. Shanann, Bella and Celeste were nowhere to be found. After venturing upstairs, Chris returned to the officer holding his wife's wedding ring, claiming he had discovered it on a nightstand located within the master bedroom. Shanann's phone was discovered in between cushions of an upstairs sofa. Nicole was quick to mention that it was highly unusual for her friend to leave without her phone due to the nature of her work. Chris told the responding officer that his wife arrived home at approximately 2 a.m. earlier that morning, whilst he and the children were asleep. He stated he had woke up at 5 a.m. to get ready for work, at which point he and his wife got into a discussion over marital issues. He then stated that after backing his truck up to the garage to load his tools, he left his home at 5:27 a.m. for work, leaving his wife and kids in bed asleep. He told the officer that Shanann had told him that her and the children were going to a friend's house later that day, but he had no idea who the friend was or when she would be returning. He said he was the only operator present on his job site, located nearby Hudson, for a few hours that morning. Soon after, Officer Coonrod received a call from Shanann's mother, Sandra Ruzek, where she expressed her concerns regarding Christopher's involvement. Officer Coonrod then called for the assistance of Detective Dave Barmhover. Upon his arrival, Detective Barmhover again asked Chris to recount the last time he saw his wife. This time, Chris's story changed slightly. He now claims that Shanann had arrived home from the airport at 1:48 a.m., not approximately 2 a.m. as previously claimed. Watts explained that he knew this because a doorbell camera alert was sent to his phone. He now stated that at approximately 4 a.m., not 5 a.m. as previously claimed, he initiated a discussion with Shanann regarding marital separation, which left both parties very emotional. He told the detective that before he left for work at 5:27 a.m., Shanann told him she and the children were going to a friend's house later that day. In his report, Detective Barmhover noted that when he later asked Chris to recall his day again, he added that soon after he awoke at 4 a.m., he left the master bedroom and went to the basement where he worked out for 15 minutes before returning to the bedroom to speak to Shanann about marital separation. Watts then told the detective that he and Shanann had been having financial troubles and planned on selling the home in order to purchase a smaller property. When asked if he and Shanann were planning to live together, Chris said he would get an apartment somewhere, while Shanann and the girls would move into the new home, where they would both share custody of their children. Chris later informed detectives that he had attempted to contact Shanann at both 7:40 a.m. and 8:25 a.m. earlier that morning, as well as most recently at 2:11 p.m., but received no response. Chris was instructed by authorities to call all nearby hospitals in search of his pregnant wife and 2 children. Authorities then conducted a search of the residence, where they discovered all Shanann's personal effects. Her purse, wallet and medication were all located in the kitchen of the home. They also noticed that the bedding in the master bedroom had been stripped off and bundled on the floor, and both pillowcases and a top sheet were recovered from the kitchen trash can. The bed's fitted sheet remained missing, but the search of the property revealed no signs of foul play. Police reported that Chris's demeanour was nonchalant and, for the severity of the situation, lacked concern. They also discovered Chris's work truck was fitted with GPS and proceeded to work on retrieving the data it contained to track his whereabouts following the disappearance. Authorities initiated an immediate neighbourhood canvass and a statewide BOLO alert was issued to be on the lookout for Shanann, Bella and Celeste.
Shame. Damn shame. Mm.
Playing the role of concerned husband, but by the next day, the tone of the investigation had changed.
By 7 a.m. the following morning, on August 14th, there was still no sign of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste. Authorities requested an immediate press release be issued and requested assistance from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and ultimately the FBI. As local news networks began to catch wind of the escalating events, Denver 7 News were able to get an exclusive interview with Chris Watts outside his suburban home. During the interview, Chris pleads for the safe return of his pregnant wife and their 2 daughters. However, his televised appeal would not have the desired effect one would think. This was due to Chris's unnaturally calm persona and the lack of emotion he showed whilst the interview was conducted.
Chris Watts, WATTS. Nicole called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home. And then walked in the house, and nothing vanished.
No,
nothing
walked in the house.
She wasn't here. The kids weren't
Don't
here.
front.
Nobody was here.
You wouldn't be going to prison because you walked in the house, mother effer.
Bella and Celeste. Bella's 4, Celeste is 3. Last night, I had every light in the house on. I was hoping that I would just ran over by the kids running in the door and just like barrel rushing me. But
Switch up in the building.
And it was just a traumatic night trying to be here. My kids are my life. Those smiles light up my life.
Hit that
That's
like
why last night
button
was
for
horrible.
me, bro.
I couldn't do it. I want everybody to just come home. Like wherever they're at, come home.
Welcome to Brooklyn Squad.
I just want them back. I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like somebody has to come forward. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete
You need to go to prison
without anybody here.
You don't fucking electric
Please
child.
bring her back.
You need to see everybody. The hell? What are you talking about?
Authorities were already working diligently on the case and actively investigating all leads, including Chris himself.
Ain't he? Yeah. The cap. Ugh. Thank you, Bush IG.
Later that evening, Chris Watts was interviewed by FBI Special Agent Graham Coder. During the interview, Agent Coder asked Chris if he suspected his wife of infidelity and if he himself had been unfaithful. Chris stated that he was not aware of his wife being unfaithful, but that it was totally possible. When asked if he was seeing anyone else, Chris's tone of voice lowered and he responded, "No, I have not done that." He then told authorities that there had been a disconnect in their relationship in recent months and that they had fell out of love with each other, stating that it wasn't, quote, there anymore. Investigators remained highly skeptical of Chris's account of events and the reasons he gave regarding the sudden breakdown of his marriage. They had also commenced interviewing close friends, family, neighbours and co-workers, and began to form a clearer picture regarding the status of Shanann and Chris's relationship, as well as them as individuals.
Yes.
It seemed as though their feelings towards each other weren't as mutual as Chris had been portraying. Another close friend of Shanann's, Christina Meacham, stated that she and Shanann spoke daily, and Shanann had confided in her that Chris had been acting cold towards her in recent months. She said that while Shanann was on a 6-week trip with her children to see relatives in North Carolina, Shanann had called her claiming that Chris wouldn't touch or kiss her anymore. She also revealed to her that Chris did not want the baby she was pregnant with, and that he said he was scared. Such
See?
details became a running theme within those who were interviewed.
See? He didn't want another baby. He didn't want another baby. I don't know. That's a good question. We could look that up though. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if she was like farther along, like 9 months. God forbid. You know, it's just this is horrible, man. I'm gonna look it up though. But he didn't want another baby. He was trying to marry the other chick. The other chick was getting a wedding dress. Like unbelievable. You know this cat is married, but you over there getting a wedding dress and looking up things. Bitch, you should be in prison too. The hell? I would lock her behind up too.
Shanann's parents, Sandra and Frank Ruzek, were very vocal in voicing their concerns about the
Look it up
disappearance
now,
of their
Kathy. Look
daughter
it
and
up.
granddaughters, and believed that their son-in-law
Let's
had
see.
something to do with it. Following the interview, the FBI informed Christopher Watts that he would need to be included as a suspect in the disappearance of his wife and daughters. The special agent conducting the interview reported that he felt that Chris seemed to be providing statements that were not completely truthful. He asked Chris if he would be willing to complete a polygraph test the following day, to which Chris agreed.
A heartbreaking outcome to the story we have been tracking all week, the confession of a father.
On the morning of Wednesday, August 15th, hours before the polygraph test was due to commence, detectives were contacted by Tony Husky, Regional Security Manager at Anadarko Petroleum, Chris's employer. He told investigators that he had reviewed Chris's computer network traffic. He revealed that he had discovered emails between Chris Watts and a fellow female employee who he identified as Nicole Kessinger, and it appeared a relationship between the two began around June 2018. As previously shown, police records of Kessinger's web history showed that she Google searched the name Shanann Watts in September of 2017. This would suggest that her interest of Christopher Watts had...
She was 15 weeks pregnant. She was 15 weeks pregnant, y'all, when he strangled her to death.
Formed months earlier than alleged. Around the same time investigators discovered this new information, Nicole Kessinger herself contacted authorities voluntarily in order to disclose all she knew about Chris and the ongoing investigation. In addition, they now also possessed the GPS data of Chris's work truck, and authorities had immediately begun analysing the new intelligence. Investigators withheld this new information pending the results of Chris's polygraph examination. Following an in-depth pre-test evaluation, agents Tammy Lee commenced with the scheduled examination. Watts was asked 3 main questions over 3 chart repetitions, to which he answered no to each question.
Regarding Shanann's disappearance, do you intend to answer all of the questions truthfully?
Yes.
He failed that
Are you
one.
lying about the last time you saw Shanann?
No.
Do you know where Shanann is now?
No.
Did you physically cause Shanann's disappearance?
No.
Child. Stop it, Chris.
Exodus in many ways.
Chris,
Following
stop.
his examination, investigators then conducted a post-test interview with Chris. They informed him that the conclusion of his polygraph examination indicated that he was being deceptive. As investigators pressed him on the results and advised him to tell the truth, he continued to deny his involvement in the disappearance of his family.
Honestly, I do not know where they are at. If I could have my babies back home right now, I would. I want them back. I want everybody back. That is God's honest truth.
Simultaneously, whilst the interview was being conducted, authorities had arrived at Site Survey 319 after following the GPS data retrieved from Chris's work truck. They completed a drone search of the site. During the search, investigators had discovered a bedsheet in the field near a tank battery. The sheet matched the bedding that had been recovered from the kitchen bin in the Watts residence. The search also revealed fresh movement of dirt consistent with the shallow grave site near the oil tanks. As the interview intensified and investigators pressed him further regarding the whereabouts of Shanann, Bella and Celeste, Chris continued to adamantly deny any knowledge, but revealed that he had been lying about his extramarital affairs.
I didn't hurt her. I cheated on her. I hurt her emotionally. I cheated on her. I feel absolutely horrible about this, but I didn't go to the Rocky game. I was with her. I went to dinner with her. That 5 weeks I was alone, I was with her most of the time. Who is her? I don't want to get her involved in this. I don't want to ruin her life. She's a wonderful person. Like, I mean, she knew I was married, yes. And I told her we were going through issues, yes. I saw her, took my breath away.
Referring to his mistress in the third person as she or her, he admitted that he hadn't attended the Rockies game as he initially claimed on August 11th, but was instead with her at dinner. Investigators told Chris that they didn't think his girlfriend hurt anyone, and that we should leave her out of it and get back to focusing on his wife and daughters.
I don't think this girl did anything to hurt anybody. So, can we leave her out of it? Okay. Get back to your wife and your daughters. Okay. Where are they? That I do not know. Well, Chris, in an interview today, you weren't asked about infidelity. You were asked about... I was holding back from last night. We're very, very worried.
Okay, Katie.
Chris continued to deny knowing anything about the disappearance and told investigators that the affair was all he had been hiding, reminding Chris that he wasn't questioned in regards to his infidelity on the polygraph. They revealed to Chris that they already possessed information regarding his girlfriend, Nikki.
Going into that interview today with Tammy, where we strapped you in, we knew all about Nikki, okay? All about her. We knew about Nikki, and so we didn't need to ask you about her in the polygraph.
Following 5 to 6 hours of interrogation, Chris began to buckle under the pressure, and after requesting to speak with his father, he stated that he wanted to tell the truth. His story now took a dark turn. He now claims that he and Shanann had got into a heated discussion in the master bedroom, where he told her of his wishes to separate. He said he then walked out of the room and downstairs for a moment to pack for work, and heard commotion upstairs, but thought nothing of it. Shortly after, he returned to the room to speak with Shanann again. He saw via the baby monitor located on Shanann's nightstand that his daughter Bella was laying sprawled out on her bed, with her covers pulled off of her. In a panic, he said he then ran into the bedroom where he saw Shanann over Celeste and actively strangling her, who had now turned blue in complexion. He told authorities that this sent him into a rage and he strangled Shanann to death. He then loaded all 3 bodies onto the back seat of his truck and drove to an oil battery site belonging to his employer, known as Survey 319. He told detectives that he then buried Shanann's body, dressed in a t-shirt and underwear, near 2 oil tanks, and dumped the bodies of his 2 daughters, dressed in their pajamas, inside the oil tanks. Following his confession, Chris was presented with an aerial image of Survey 319 that had been earlier captured during a drone search of the area, where he identified the locations of the bodies. Christopher Lee Watts was taken into custody and held at the Weld County Jail for the murder of his pregnant wife and 2 young daughters. The media storm that followed the arrest only grew in intensity as the police investigation deepened.
Free Tax USA to the rescue.
Meet Bob. Bob just got his tax forms.
It's that time of the year again.
Bob knows he has
Developments in the murder of a pregnant woman and her 2 children.
The husband of a pregnant Colorado woman confesses to murdering her and his 2 daughters. It's a story we've been following closely now for days.
Overnight, police towing this truck and collecting evidence at the home of a man arrested for the murder of his pregnant wife and 2 daughters.
A heartbreaking outcome to the story we have been tracking all week, the confession of a father.
Chris Watts went on TV Tuesday.
If somebody has her, just please bring her back. I just want them back. I just want them to come back.
Investigators returned to the family home last night and searched the house. Overnight, the Frederick Police Department issued a release saying Chris Watts had been arrested in connection with the case.
Watts allegedly told investigators he will lead them to the bodies. He is now in jail awaiting charges.
Wednesday night, the body of his pregnant wife, Shanann, was discovered on the property of one of his work sites.
We have been able to recover a body that we're quite certain is Shanann Watts' body. We have strong reason to believe that we know where the bodies of the children are, and recovery efforts are in process.
This quiet suburban home is where investigators believe the suspect killed his wife and 2 young children. It's believed all of their bodies have now been recovered.
Shanann's brother says his sister was pregnant with a boy, Nico.
Breaking this hour, the man accused of murdering his pregnant wife and their 2 young children told police that his wife was strangling the kids, causing him to go into a rage.
This is Christopher Watts' story. He is claiming that his wife killed their 2 little girls, and then he killed his wife in a rage.
The defense asked the judge to order the coroner to obtain DNA right away, and the defense indicates that the girls were likely strangled. The documents paint a picture of a fight between Watts' defense and prosecutors. In the end, a judge says he will not tell the coroner how to conduct his investigation or order him to get DNA right away. Motion denied.
A 2-day investigation revealed Chris was actively involved in an affair with a coworker, which he denied in previous interviews.
The mistress of the cold-hearted killer, they met at a Colorado oil company where they both worked. Watts told the woman he was in the final stages of a divorce from his wife, Shanann. Nicole Kessinger says she started dating Watts in June. When his wife was on business or visiting her parents, they saw each other as many as 5 times a week. Watts even asked her to help him find a bachelor pad for when he got a divorce.
He's the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Shanann confided to friends she suspected her husband was having an affair. Nicole says she was shocked to see Watts on TV appealing for his family's safe return. I found out he was still married and his wife was 15 weeks pregnant. I thought, if he was able to lie to me and hide something that big, what else was he lying about?
Mr. Watts entered a plea of guilty.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So she didn't know that his wife was still. Wait. Hold up. Oh, I got her messed up. So she thought they were divorced. She didn't know that they were still married and his wife was pregnant? She thought this man was divorced? I'm thinking that this chick know that he's mad. Wait, no, come on, y'all. Come on. Yo. Twitch up in a building. Facebook is up in a building and YouTube is up in a building. He told her they were in the final stage of their divorce. Get out of here. Oh. Okay, you hear me talking about she needs to go to prison. This girl needs to go to jail. Okay. Thank you. Oh, wow.
To all 9 counts. Those counts include murder in the first degree after deliberation as to Shanann Watts, murder in the first degree as to Bella Watts, murder in the first degree as to Celeste Watts, unlawful termination of a pregnancy as it relates to Nico Watts, and 3 counts of unlawful tampering with a deceased human body.
Father of slain Shanann Watts gave an emotional statement venting his anger and grief.
You heartless monster. You have no heart or feelings or love. Prison is too good for you. This is hard to say, but may God have mercy on your soul.
Shanann's mother reminded Watts of a heartbreaking video his daughter Bella recorded.
My daddy is a hero. He helped me grow up strong.
We loved you like a son. We trusted you. Your faithful wife trusted you. Your children adored you.
As Watts strangled his wife, it would have taken up to 4 minutes to end her life. Then he smothered his 2 daughters. 4-year-old Bella fought back as her dad was killing her. Even more shocking, just hours after burying his wife and dumping his daughters' bodies in oil tanks, he was back with his co-workers, acting as if nothing had happened.
The court is going to sentence you, sir, to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections with no possibility of parole.
The autopsy, carried out by Dr. Michael Burson on August 17th, revealed that the cause of death for both 4-year-old Bella Marie and 3-year-old Celeste Catherine Watts was asphyxiation due to smothering. 4-year-old Bella showed signs that she had fought for her life, possessing bruised gums, a torn inner lip, and having bit her tongue during her fatal attack. Their small bodies were discovered dressed in their pajamas in the oil tanks. 15-week pregnant Shanann Catherine Watts had also died from asphyxiation, but due to manual strangulation. When her body was discovered in a shallow grave, she was laying face down in the fetal position. In producing this documentary, we specifically chose not to include the full accounts of Nicole Kessinger in order to keep most of the focus on Chris Watts, whilst providing insight into Shanann's frame of mind throughout her communications with both her husband and close friends. Instead, we have provided you with the most relevant information regarding Miss Kessinger's personal communications and web history, as well as her recorded interviews with authorities. Judging by her final web search, performed 7 days following the murder of Shanann, Bella and Celeste at the hands of her lover Chris Watts, we can assume that she hopes to have the opportunity in the near future to tell her side of this story in full. If, however, you was and are interested in reading further into Nicole Kessinger's testimonies to police, you can find the link to the police case file in the description, as well as page numbers of interest, which we have provided for your convenience.
Wow. Excellent documentary. Excellent documentary. The reason I chose that documentary, and I didn't look at the whole thing, I only saw in the middle when she said a prayer for the family. I don't see that a lot doing lives and, stuff like that. I didn't look at a lot of other documents because I only have 5 minutes to choose a documentary, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because we did the other live the first time and then this one, and I was like, I want to show it. I want to see a documentary of it at least, instead of the court case and this and that. Let's see all of the pieces together. And the other ones, I was just like, I saw 2 other ones for a split second. But when she said a prayer, like my condolences goes out to the family, I said, this is the one that we're going to watch. That just got me. That just something, when you know, when you have that feeling of that connection, when you know that that person is genuinely care about the work that they was doing at the time, because she's not doing videos no more. It looked like the last video she did was 4 years ago, but I did put her link down below, so if y'all want to go check her out, go check it out. Anytime I do somebody's show somebody's work, I give them a shout out, put the link below. But it looked like the last one was 4 years ago. But yeah, that's what attracted me to that person doing the documentary. She showed love and the prayer, and I was all in for that. This was hard. This was hard. This was a guy that they thought was the perfect fit. They thought this was the perfect family. This was the perfect family, but he wasn't the perfect man. This was the perfect wife. This was the perfect daughters, the perfect kids, the perfect unborn baby. But he wasn't the perfect husband. But people thought that this was the perfect man, devoted husband, loving father, faithful, amazing husband. The wife saw him as her king. I saw a clip when she was like, I love him so much, like he's my king. In the beginning, And the kids loved him to pieces. That was their hero. Exactly. I said that in the beginning. I said that in the beginning, Kathy B. Yup. They were struggling financially. When they said The baby was born with asthma, both little girls, and they had medical bills. I said, uh-oh. In the beginning, you'll see when you watch it, replay it, Kathy B. I said, uh-oh, bills. There's going to be an issue here, I bet. That the bills, because, medical bills is, please. Thank God I got Medicaid, but I'm saying for those that don't got Medicaid and pay for bills, because listen, my hubby still got to pay for co-pays, but imagine paying for medical bills with you paying for medical bills, co-pays, everything. So when I heard that in the beginning of the video, Kathy B, I was like, oh, I can imagine where this is going to go. Yeah. But he didn't have to do that. He could have walked away. He could have walked away. When he started acting funny and started being secretive and started cheating, yeah. And the mistress, she did move really fast. She was looking at wedding dresses, honey. I said, hold up, wait a minute. Damn. That's what I'm saying. She was looking at wedding dresses. I'm like, baby girl, hold up. Like Shanae from Martin, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? Hold up, boo. Breathe. Take in. Hold up. Because, girl, what makes you think that you're not going to go through the same shit that he going through with her? And it's already a few weeks and you want to hassle in you want to put on a white gown and everything. Like, baby, back up for a minute. Damn, take a breath. Sit in the carriage seat and all that, child, please. Honeymoon and everything. She was ready to do the bachelor party for him and everything. Like, damn, sis. So she was already living in a fantasy. So you already know she had self-esteem issues, probably. Low self-esteem. So she already has some issues. He picked out the person that wasn't even loving herself. That already has some issues going on. That's how I see it. I'm going to look deep into her, though. Because I bet you. Yep. She probably had low self-esteem. She loved him so much he came first. She was so blind to see that this man was still married and then knocked up his wife and she was still pregnant. She didn't see that until he was on the news. For unaliving his family? Girl, you see him every day for 5 weeks straight. You didn't know anything was funny? His attitude, how he was acting, something? Baby. Because she was so blindsided. She was so blind. She just wanted that man. She thought he was everything. Well, how could you think that that man is everything, baby, when he's getting a damn divorce? He's not even healing yet. He's not even healing himself. He don't even got his pieces together. He's getting a fucking divorce. He's not healing himself. He doesn't have his house in order. His house is not in order. So what makes her think that their house was going to be in order? Come on now. She was living a fantasy world and got caught up in the mess. Baby. That was a tough one, y'all. That was tough. That got me though. I was all in it. I was like, wait a minute. Cause I'm tired. First I was like, oh man. Then I was like, wait a minute, hold up now. This is like deep. This is going like beyond. I want to find out some more about this though. Like, I don't know enough about his wife. Like, I want to know some stuff about his wife. I want to know some stuff about his family. I want to know about his in-laws, his wife's family. I know they were so hurt. You heard what the father-in-law said. It's a sad, very, very sad. This really took this. Oh man, really sad. But I got some more stuff for y'all tomorrow. I want to say thank you, Carly Nicole. I say names wrong, so girl, if I'm saying your name wrong, I'm sorry. And I want to say thank you to, wait, hold on. Twitch up in the building. Bush 1G up in the building from Twitch. Because we live on Twitch right now. So I want to say thank y'all for joining me. I hope y'all subscribe to my channel. We do nothing but true crime cases over here. Everything is true crime, trafficking, human trafficking, organ trafficking, missing people, everything true crime. You know what I mean? I do interviews with parents. So yeah, stick around. Watch me. Watch us. You know? Why not? You're here. And the people that's in the back, thank you for joining. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are, but thank you for watching me, and thank y'all for hitting that thumbs up. I do appreciate that. That means a lot. And I just want to say I do appreciate all of y'all for just riding with me. You know what I mean? I know my content is not the bomb. It's not like 1 million people up in here, 300 people up in here. It don't matter. It's y'all and me and the cases and the victims and sometimes the victims' families that come in here. And that's all that matters. You know what I mean? And God. And that's all that matters. So with that, I'm going to say everyone have a blessed night. Because I got to put these videos out. It's 8:30. Ooh, it's 9:35. We started at 5 something with the first video. So, okay, I did 2 videos today, y'all. Back to back. Okay, I got to give it to me. Your girl did 2 videos back to back. Yeah. 2 lives. Not a video and an upload like an Amber Alert or something, but 2 lives. Okay. Shit, tied and all. But tomorrow I do have, oh my God, this case I got for y'all tomorrow. Just get ready. Put your boxing gloves on because y'all gonna want to box these motherfuckers out. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's heartbroken. You know what we do over here, true crime. So just get ready, y'all. And put your guard on. Don't put your boxers on. Put your guard armor on. We all need our guard armor on. Right? Yeah, we all need our guard armor on. Because these cases I got for you tomorrow is pretty hectic. Yeah, it's hectic. One of my subs gave it to me. So, yeah. So it's really hectic. It's sad. You know, kid cases is always sad, fortunately. So good night, everybody. I adore y'all to pieces. And I will see y'all tomorrow. All right. All right. Don't forget to share this video and check out the playlist. Oh yeah. And also, you guys are the best. Good night. Bye.